Welcome to this short summary of the Marxist boat analogy, specifically looking at religion and beliefs in society. Now, in previous videos, I've discussed the boat analogy and how it fits in with Marxist views. It's essentially a way of demonstrating the difference between the infrastructure and the superstructure. And what I've done here, as I've done in previous videos, is apply it to Marxism and their views on beliefs. So as you can see, we'll start at the bottom, as always, with the infrastructure. This is what we call the base of society, and it's often referred to as the economic base. And this is the part where all the economy, all the money of society, the wealth of society is produced, and this is what keeps society afloat. Now, in this instance, we're talking about a capitalism and capitalist wealth system based on money. Now, this economic base is working hard, and it communicates with the superstructure, which will be the top half of the boat up here, to encourage the system to keep working, to keep producing wealth. So essentially the infrastructure, as point 2 highlights, the infrastructure communicates with the superstructure, encouraging capitalism to continue. Now, the superstructure, the top half of the boat here, this is where all the institutions in society exist. So religion, the media, education, family, employment, government, these are where the social institutions exist. And their role, as it says, is to share and reinforce ideas and beliefs. This reinforces norms and values. This is all delivered through socialization. And according to Marxists, this is what keeps the values and capitalism as an ideal alive. So linking it to religion, Marx highlights that religion is man-made. It was designed by men, and it has a function to help capitalism keep working. Unlike functionalism, where religion benefits society and social order, for Marxists, religion basically maintains class division. The rich stay rich, the poor stay poor, and the two are separate. So he argues that this is done in two ways. The ideological functions are that it's used by the ruling class as an instrument of oppression to maintain, justify, and reproduce inequality. And it's used also by the working class to cushion the effects of oppression. So the working class will use religion to help them cope with inequality, which in turn reinforces and maintains this inequality affecting them in society. So I'm going to skip a step. As you can see, this line points over here. So what happens, the superstructure at the top reinforces the values. These values are then pushed out and they reproduce the false class consciousness. And Marx and Lenin talked about this. So Marx talks about it being the opium of the people, and Lenin referred to the same process but called it spiritual gin. And ultimately what religion does, how it maintains that false consciousness, is religion promises an afterlife of eternal happiness and paradise. All the suffering that working class and lower classes go through is virtuous. They'll be rewarded on Judgment Day. And praying for supernatural intervention to end poverty rather than taking real world action to make your situation better. These actions, which are reinforced and encouraged by religion through the cushion effect, through the opium of the people, prevents any change happening, because all the change and all the suffering is justified, so the working class carry on putting up with it. So what this does is it maintains the division: the rich versus the poor, the bourgeoisie versus proletariat, the working class, ruling class, owners and workers. And Leach highlights this down here, that 80% of bishops in the Church of England attended private institutions or private schools, independent schools, and therefore he argues that the Church of England does little to reduce inequality, supports the values of the ruling class. As a result, this division benefits capitalism. The rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. And this continues that inequality in power. This then means the cycle begins again. Capitalism remains strong. The system is effectively seen as working, and therefore the cycle begins again. And what will happen each time is the infrastructure will talk to the superstructure. That will then reinforce and communicate the false class consciousness. That will keep division, and then the cycle just goes round, and it goes round and round and round each generation. So there we have it. It's a very, very short, very, very basic description of the Marxist boat analogy, but it has here a slightly greater application to Marxism and Marxist views of religion. Hope this helped, and thanks for watching.